Banana flour sabzi, I know it's a bit of an outlier, but it's a really beautiful regional delicate dish. Ta-da! We're making a banana flour sabzi. We found these beautiful banana flowers and they're just like, they're glorious. This is the little flower stems on the outside. And then you pull, it's like a present. Every layer has a different set of flowers. It's like pass the parcel. So we've done a little bit of prep. Mumta and I have peeled the banana flour, and then the really important piece of this preparation is you need to take out the stamen and essentially this, I don't know, like a little piece of the flour at the bottom here that needs to come out before you cook. So it's a little bit fiddly. It's not a very, very straightforward or common cook. It's not something you'd sort of bust out on a Monday night when you had 20 minutes to get dinner on the table. It's a really special dish. So we have gone through and essentially cleaned all of the flowers. And then what we're left with is a large bowl like this that we've soaked in water, and they do need to be soaked for a period of time, so around 30 or 40 minutes. Once they're soaked, we're going to strain them and then chop them, not very finely. I'm actually going to try one raw. Oh wow, that packs like a massive punch. It has the texture of green banana, so like chalky. Let me think about that for a sec. Texturally, it starts like a water chestnut and it finishes like chalk. It dries all the saliva out of your mouth and from the back of the teeth. And I imagine that a lot of the aromatic component must be recessed into this flour. And it's surprisingly not floral. At the same time as soaking the banana flour, what we've done is we've soaked a little moong dal for around half an hour. We're using moong dal because it's nice and delicate, cooks very quickly, and it doesn't need a second treatment before it's added to the sabzi. So we don't want to pressure cooker the moong dal. You want to actually just boil it in a pot. The pressure cooking is going to break down the structure too much. So we're not creating a dal, we're creating a softened lentil that'll then go into the sabzi. And then just enough water to cover. Maybe a fraction more. So this is going to go into high heat. And while that's working, I'm going to prepare some onion. So into the start of the cook is going to be a little ghee and onion, garlic and ginger. And we're going to cook that down until it is translucent. Banana flour, even though it is a flour, it's not too delicate of a flavour. It is quite starchy and green, so it can carry quite a solid masala without being overtaken. So just if you have a look at the dal, so that's starting to boil and the water's starting to evaporate. So it's swelling, but it's not breaking down completely, which is perfect. So this is ready. You can see how the water's basically evaporated, but too much longer and it's going to start to stick to the pan. They're still really nice shape. It's still a little bit crunchy, which is what we're looking for. So that can come off the heat. So the right temperature for translucent sauteing is a medium heat, that if you're going to err on the side of anything, it would be low rather than high. So once that starts to break down a little bit, we'll add a little bit of cumin seed. So we're working to taste really, so I'm going to suggest a heaped teaspoon and just add a fraction of water just so that it is becoming translucent without caramelizing. So the banana flour is going to go in. It wants a little water. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt, she says. But we actually are adding moong dal as well, so I want the salt to be able to carry through. That's heat 2 teaspoons. A few pinches of hing or asafoetida. We are going to add a little more spice, but I'm going to put the moong dal in before we do that. This had no salt, which is why I added extra salt. So I'm going to stir this through and then give it a taste before I finish. See, there's a little starchiness in that banana flour coming out as well. So I am going to, once I finish, I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. Oh wow, that's so lovely. Oh my gosh. That's stunning. The salt's perfect. The moong dal brings out the nuttiness in the banana flour. And I'm going to finish with the spicing. So we want to add some toasted cumin powder, like a good teaspoon. Then lal mirch, a little chilli. Dhania, coriander powder. Okay, so we're going to work this through. And as it's cooking out, you can see that starch is cooking out. So it's no longer got that white liquid in the bottom, which means that that's a good sign. Starch muffles masala. One of the issues with starch, it's why we soak rice, it's part of the reason why we soak dal, is it creates a barrier between the produce and the masala and your experience of that taste. So it's like trying to taste through an opaque window. You don't want that. It's drying out, you can hear. Working with heat, you can use more than just your visual sense or your taste sense. You know, obviously you can listen as well to hear exactly what's going on. All right, that's perfect. I'm going to turn that off and give it another taste. No, it's pretty spectacular. It's very strong flavour, so it feels like an achievement. Actually, that tastes like the food that my ummi and my bui makes. I feel there's just a real strength to it. It's very forward but balanced spicing. It's a little earthy. The moong dal has this lovely little crunch in there, which is a really important textural component. And then the banana flour itself. So the banana flour has kind of a cool, open and really refreshing texture that works as a counterbalance to the masala, which is, you know, beautiful and deep. Actually, it hits you down here in the solar plexus. I'm going to serve it up and just finish it with some fresh coriander leaf, and that will just refresh some of the floral quality in the banana itself. So this with some like puri and some pickled vegetables. That would be beautiful. Pickled carrot, pickled cucumber. And we'll give it one more taste. The coriander flour just gives it a little bit of movement and another layer of texture again. This is a really full palate dish. It's really very rich, really very textured. I would go as far as to say it almost has a meat substitute quality, which is really interesting. I would not have expected that at all. So, banana flour sabzi, I know it's a bit of an outlier. Finding fresh banana flours for most people will be pretty challenging. But if you are in a space to be able to prepare something like this, it's a really beautiful regional delicate dish that's well worth putting on your lunchtime table.